What's up, y'all? I just want to talk about a couple things. I know it's been a moment since I uploaded a video, and I just wanted to get on here and talk about my views on a few of these things. Um, so, what a trip, man! What a trip! What a year! It's come out that the actual collusion was done by the Clinton Foundation and the Obamas as well. It's come out that Biden actually did extort the Prime Minister um, to fire the investigator investigating his son for $1.5 billion. And China is heavily impacted many politicians here in the United States, meaning they're in bed together. Now, people like to say, oh, Trump's this, Trump's that. I mean, what have we seen? Like, his tax returns come out, or his taxes come out, and the goal, I mean, taxes are theft anyway. So the goal is to limit your tax exposure. So, and it's funny because a lot of people that are, talking and running their mouths about this are not only misinformed, but might not have any clue about entrepreneurship at all, or, how to own a business. And that's unfortunate. But, let's talk about BLM and Antifa. So BLM, Black Lives Matter, is ran by three ladies and then some. And these three ladies are witches. They practice witchcraft. It's so in our faces. Like, how do you see that and be like, oh, that's normal? Yeah, that's normal. I mean, you have to serve one God. You can't be calling yourself a Christian and be like, you know what, I'm going to dabble a little bit in witchcraft. So that being said, a lot of people that are following BLM and Antifa, or BLM maybe specifically or exclusively, you're following witches. Not only that, but they're trained Marxists, and this is what they said in their own words. Their own words. And then other leaders, two male leaders I've seen a couple times, talk about wanting to completely dismantle the entire system, to invoke communism, to burn it all down. Well, these are literal things that have been said. So, do Black Lives Matter? Absolutely. What kind of question is that? Come on. But the notion of the 1619 Project, the notion of all white people are racist until proven otherwise, like, what is this nonsense? That is racist in itself. Oh, you can't be racist unless you're white. No, that's not true. Race, if you want to get real clear about it, race itself is a construct. Yes, we all have different pigmentations, but the idea of race was actually a setup by society. And in my opinion, and I think a lot of people would agree, it was set up on purpose to divide us. Think about this. Until 10 or 15 years ago, roughly, how many of us were marking our race on everything, every piece of documentation that we have had in front of us? It's a setup to divide. So, in Antifa, but BLM, Black Lives Matter, in May and June, I believe, raised over $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. And it's said that they have destroyed all the riots. Not everyone in part of the protests goes to the riots. This is what the media tries to do. Try to skew the two and convolute the waters and muddy the waters in terms of the verbiage. But no, like, protests are different. Riots are completely different than protests. Now, you can't peacefully riot, and that's the thing, is the media keeps trying to skew things because this is informational psychological warfare designed to keep us confused and divided. Misinformed, confused, divided. That's the whole purpose. So, the riots are being done by BLM, Antifa, and other anarchists. Now, there's no way around that. Like, the only people that are denying that are people who are so hard and left that they orange man bad, Trump derangement syndrome. That's really the only people. Those are the only people that are denying that these riots and looting and pillaging is being done by BLM and Antifa. The only people that are saying it's not are the people that are hard left, anti-Trump, orange man bad, Trump derangement syndrome. That's it. Because there's a lot of proof. There's proof everywhere. People film it, and that's it. I mean, that being said, there are bad cops, obviously. That's silly to say that. But the notion that all cops are bastards, ACAB, that we should defund the police, that we should defund the entire criminal justice system, that we should completely abolish criminal justice, that we should abolish the prisons, that we should, have no borders, have no cops, that is crazy. That is destructive, and that is the Marxist agenda of BLM. And they are acting as if they're brown shirts and black shirts for this new regime that is being pushed on us that is not Trump. And if you don't know who the black shirts and brown shirts are, go start to do research on Nazi Germany. Go start to do research on Mussolini's Italy. It's very simple. They come in, destroy, create chaos, destabilize, dismantle the law enforcement, and then boom, bring in a secondary regime's militia or military. So that's pretty much it. Antifa is very, very, very well funded, and it's so silly because both these titles of these names are very clever, because of course Black Lives Matter, of course anti-fascism is smart and patriotic, but Antifa is actually fa. There's no anti. If you are using violence to silence your opponent, that's fascism. If you're using violence to dismantle and disrupt and create chaos, that's not anti-fascism. That's actual fascism, and that's the invokement of said fascism. So now, I'm not all things expert on politics and whatnot, but I've learned a lot, and I do critical thinking, and I'm not glory give to Trump. I glory give to God. I continue to want to lean into what Jesus is calling me to do, be, think, say, and be. I said be, but I'm leaning into Jesus, right? And there's been a lot of prophecies, biblically speaking, that have come to fruition, and I would encourage you to go venture into that. Now, people can believe what they want. Now, you can't really love this country and also want to burn it down. That's crazy. This whole double speak, this whole new speak, right, off of 1984, this whole get to their thoughts, right, program the kids, right, it's absolutely mind-blowing to watch it happen in real time. And the only people that aren't seeing it are people that aren't paying attention at all, or the people that are so hard left and in a spell, because media and Hollywood, both terms and both concepts are basically witchcraft. The idea is to create a spell on you, and it's working because people are in this daze, they're in this lull, and the only people, and when you start to see it and you start to wake up to it, you're like, whoa, I can't believe I was under that cloud. So, and it's not condescension, it's not out of I'm better than you. That's not what this is about. It's about waking your brother and sister up. Waking your brothers and sisters up. And again, people try to divide by race. This is not a race war. This is not a race war. The media is pushing a race war. Trump is not a racist. He's not a racist. There's no way. You can't prove it. He has had many, 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 many things that happen in his life and things that he's done. And he would be such a terrible racist, right? Meaning he's not good at it. And he's done more for the black community and other minority communities than most of the presidents, right? With the exception of a few. That's factual. Right, it's factual. Now, Biden gets up there and he uses the N-word 5 times as a sitting senator, and plus probably more than 5 times. And it's on the record. It's on video. You can go look it up. He's the one who says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. He's the one that created multiple crime bills that targeted black and minority communities, and with the specific focus on the 1984 crime bill. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? He's the one that's pandering all the time, talking about putting you in chains, right? He's the one that's fear-mongering. He's the one who was best buddies with one of the head of the KKK before he died. He's the one. He's the one. Kamala Harris, who's pandering to women and to blacks, is not even African-American. She's Jamaican and Indian. So what are we talking about? It's this massive cloud of fog of war, this massive confusion put on by the media, and this massive amount of pandering because there's desperation in the air. They don't want Trump to win again. Now, you can go in and do research why you think that is. I have my ideas, and I think because a lot of people are guilty of treason, insurrection, sedition, subversion, many crimes, many crimes. And all these crimes are punishable under the Constitution in a very heavy way. So, I would encourage you guys to think for yourselves. I get people messaging me trying to get all mad at me because I'm speaking the truth, man. Like there's people that come out and they throw insults, but they don't do their own actual research. They said, did you Google that? Did you Snopes that? Did you do fact check? I fact check meaning I did my own critical research and thinking and came to a conclusion after trying to disprove this theory that I developed. That's what I did. That's what I did. And we got to do our own digging. We can't just rely on some quote-unquote third party, even though they're completely biased. Snopes is owned. And most of the media is owned. It's not a conspiracy. Most of mainstream media, 90% roughly, is owned by 5 major companies. So they control all the information that flows to us. So if you're getting all of your stuff from that, whether it's CNN or Fox, it doesn't matter, because Fox is also owned. then you're not really thinking. You're being told what to think and how to think, and you're not thinking. You're not thinking critically. So we have to do our own digging, our own research, our own critical thinking, because God gave you a brain. And if you're banking your entire life stake on what this person or that person is doing or saying, or this party, that party, you're not living the way you probably want to live. You're not living in a higher thought, right? And so I have people that message me, get all mad and bent out of shape and insult me, right? If you don't have facts, you resort to insults. And if you come at me with like, oh, you're this, you're that, I'm like, well, that's great. Have a great day. And then they get mad. They get more mad. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. So, yeah, grace, wisdom, mercy, peace are given to us by God, not by government. Our constitutional rights shall not be infringed upon. Your Second Amendment, your First Amendment, these are unalienable rights given to us by God, not by government. Government is supposed to protect them, and they don't come from the government. They're supposed to say, hey, we know that you have the right to defend yourself, your property, etc., and we're going to protect that right. So now you look at states like California, you look at the coronavirus. It's very simple. 5 governors, Whitmer, Wolf, Newsom, Murphy, and Cuomo, pushed coronavirus positive patients into nursing homes, which has led to about 40% of the deaths. And then you have doctors, nurses, you have hospitals lying and getting caught. You have the CDC lying and getting caught. The CDC is not even a government entity. It's a private entity the government's been using for a long time. So all of the lies and BS, I mean, these are planned events anyway. Let's just pull that into right here. UN Agenda 21, 2020, 2030. Go look that up. Event 201, which is still on YouTube because they're bold, is a complete global pandemic exercise breakdown of what we are seeing here, with the exception of one thing. They use a pig instead of a bat. It's been outlined for a long time. You have, Bill Gates, Dr. Fauci, you have Bush Jr., you have all these people coming out and talking about how, there's got to be a global pandemic. Obama talked about it. Bill Clinton talked about it because they paid for it. They financed it. It's their fault. And the Chinese being given the new platform by George Soros to be the new face of the New World Order. That's what it was, man. It's straight up. It's that clear cut, simple. This whole thing has been orchestrated. This is an insurrection. This is a very well-funded, well-planned, thought out for decades insurrection to bring about an order, a new world order, right? One order. And we shouldn't lean into that because we're of God, not of these elitists, these globalists who want to control everything that we do, think, say, put in our bodies, etc. I mean, the more you think about it, the more you dig about it, it's pretty freaking crazy, and we're living in it. So I will give details on all these things. I want to encourage you guys to do your own research, do your own thinking. Once you start to wake up, you will get righteously mad, and then control that malice. Don't let it seep into your heart, because we need to win with, righteous violence of action if necessary. But I'm not calling for that because that's not a protected First Amendment. But like a righteous violence of pulling people out of office and holding them accountable and sending them to prison or whatever else the Constitution calls for, because there are a lot of traitors in our midst, and it's been a long time coming. So I love you all, appreciate you, and may God grace your day. May he give you wisdom. May your cup overflow. And I want to encourage you to lean deeper into Jesus, because this is real. The evil is real in the world, but also is the good. And this is not our kingdom. We are here visiting, right? And God is the King, the only King, the one King. I love y'all.